Hey Terraria fans, welcome back to another speed build video. Guys, in this one we're going to be making an underground drilling unit or mount or structure, I don't know. A big drill underground that you can kind of use as a starting point for an underground city. Now, I haven't gotten to the city part, but this build has a lot of really cool features. Of course, the main one being the drill itself, which I tried to make look very interesting. Now, this build has been something that's been requested by my community a couple of times. I never really thought about the best way to actually put this thing together, and I just kind of decided to dig a big hole underground and see if I could fit a large structure, and I think we pretty much achieved that. Now, of course, making the drill actually look like a drill was a bit of a challenge, but of course, that's just going to be expected. And guys, if you'd like to actually see me be challenged like I was with this build, by all means, feel free to check out the Twitch channel. Link is down below. Or if you're enjoying any of the content here on the channel, of course, feel free to hit the like, the subscribe, or the little dinner bell thingy so you can know when the next video hits the old YouTube universe. Now, guys, before we hop into the build, do stay until the end of this video because I will be covering all of the materials that I use in this build. So if you want to actually try to build something yourself that's very similar or try to replicate this entirely, well, then you'll know exactly the blocks that I used. Now that said, guys, let's check out the build, shall we? All right, so with our underground drilling platform complete, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through all of the materials that I actually used to put this build together. Now, guys, I do encourage you to pause the video here so you can take a closer look at all of the materials. Now, that said, I'm going to highlight a few of the ones I think were more unique. The ones that really stood out for me, guys, were crystal block and adamantite beam wall, along with our palladium column wall. These are three materials I don't use often, and I use fairly sparingly in this build as well. You'll find most of these around the actual drill bit, and this adamantite beam is on the kind of horizontal part, the power cell in the middle that actually connects the drill to the, well, I don't know what you call them, the buildings on either side. But overall, I'd say there's nothing really special when it comes to the walls. Now, when we talk about the blocks, there are a few unique ones. There are some ones I don't typically use, like Ethereum block, as well as conveyor belt. I don't use those often, but they work in mechanical type builds. We also did put in some meteorite platforms and use some granite column, which is another one I don't often use. But the block I will say is probably the most interesting is the fact that I use some pink slime block. Now, I use this basically in only 1 or 2 spots. So if you can actually spot where I put them, good for you, because it is a challenge. Because like I said, it's not something I put all throughout the build. And not to forget about paints, guys. As you can see, I used some white, some gray, and some pink paint. And we also used some deep cyan paint for those blue kind of touches that I think kind of add a nice element. But yeah, guys, that basically covers everything that I used for this build. You can, of course, swap in or out any of these items or materials as you see fit. But again, if you want to build the exact replica, that is exactly what I use. So with that said, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the video. All right, guys, so there you go. There is our underground drilling platform done. As you can see, there were a few challenges in terms of design choices. Not everything looks amazing, but I'm pretty happy with how the actual design of the drill itself looks. Although I will say that to make a drill look like an actual drill, there's probably a better technique that I'm not really familiar with. So if you are familiar with how to make a drill look more drilly, then do let me know, because I'm curious. Now, one more thing that I will say I wish I had done in this build was add a little bit more brightness to the background, particularly where the cables are to hold the drill up. I just think it would add a little bit more kind of detail and features, and I just think it would be a little bit easier to see, which, you know, sometimes is a kind of important thing when you're showing off a, well, picture. So while everything isn't perfect, I do hope that this build inspires you to try something similar, or if you've been thinking about doing something like this, that it gives you some clues as to, well, how to put it together. Because again, guys, I like to challenge myself with different builds and things I'm less comfortable with, and I hope that you can do the same. All right, so with that said, guys, do let me know what you think of this build in the comments down below. What did you like? What did I maybe do wrong? And of course, anything that you'd like to see me make in future, because you never know, I might actually get around to it and it might actually meet your expectations. Or if nothing else, it'll give you a good starting point for your own design. And that's it, guys. So thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. As always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. We will see you in the next one.